Welcome to this week's episode of Work the Left Side. I'm joined by Axl the Klown from primarily, I obviously got wind of you through PPW. How's it going, man? You good?
Yeah, man, I'm all good here. Yeah, primarily Pursuit Pro based. I'd pretty much just call it Sheffield based, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. I mean, obviously, very early on, I'm sure the radius will expand. Just within like 30 minutes from you, kind of thing. You've got True Grit, you've got Tidal, you've got various other promotions close by. So yeah, that's it. Once you're out there, really, aren't you?
That's it. Yeah.
And well, the thing with Axl is unique. I wanted to ask you kind of, well, eventually I was going to go around to asking you, but I might as well crack on now. Obviously, very character, is a character.
Yeah.
People who go all in like character wise, or you get other people that kind of just go by their own name and it's them turned up to 11 kind of thing. But when you're like a character like that, it's not you turned up to 11. You're that character kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to do. Like, some people just think I'm just putting a bit of makeup, a mask on, and I'm just being daft. It's a lot of effort because I have to sort of, how I do it is I go into a different mindset of, I'm not Alex anymore. I'm Axl the Klown. I'm this crazed up loon who somehow manages to win matches out wrestling people that are actually better wrestlers than him. It's and being witty as well, and knowing the other person in there, figuring them out. For example, when I had my debut at Spectrum on their first show with Man Like Derice, I had to quickly figure out his sort of behavior and how his character worked and how we got on in the ring. And that first sort of 5 minutes of the match where I just sort of told him, I was like, I'm probably going to do a rap because you do a rap. Like, it was literally that. From that moment, I was like, right, I figured him out. It's not just, let's just go and be daft and have a bit of a laugh. It's a lot of thinking on the feet. It's very quick, trying to figure out that timing of when I should say something and when I shouldn't say something and do something. So yeah, it's not easy, but I enjoy it. I'm having the most fun with wrestling doing Axl as I've ever had.
It seems as well very much kind of like, obviously kind of like mimicking the other person, kind of like, it's part, crazy clown, part mime clown. If you're mimicking the other person's what they do, that seems, like very much like, you could go down either route. You've kind of got that, if you want to go really dark. I'm sorry, it's just fresh in my head because I've only just watched them recently, but Terrifiers, those films, obviously don't say anything, it's just a mime. So yeah, you've kind of got that option as well. Dark.
There were points like this over the last 2 or so years that Pursuit's been running now, which is crazy to think. Axl's had so many transformations. So we came in the first ever in-house show that PPW did, which never made onto YouTube. So that's hidden away in the vault somewhere. I was very much more of a sort of a jester, very minimal makeup, very jester. It came in that way. Then I started putting more clown face paint on, and we started doing sort of an evil freak show, sort of the route that most people would go with a scary clown in wrestling. And we went out and we did a couple of shows in places, and it just wasn't clicking. Something wasn't working right. So we went back to the drawing board, and I can't thank Liam and Nathan enough because I just think they're both very, very talented people in different diversions. So we went in and I was like, this isn't working. What do we do? Liam was like, you need to stop wrestling like a wrestler. You need to move. You need to act like a clown. And then Nathan sort of helped me a bit more with the character side of things. And we eventually got down to a route where I tried to be an actual clown and I was trying to make people laugh. And then eventually, at a point I wasn't talking. It was very Muppet like. I was just making sort of just blares and whatevers. But then I found myself limited when I'm in there with other people that may struggle to work with a big character like Axl is. So then I adopted a more of a vocal role. So now, like, he's constantly evolving. Like he's now he full on blown talks. Sometimes he'll go a bit mental and he'll say whatever he likes and it might come out as gibberish. But I feel like now I've got a bit of a control over what's being done now, and I'm happy at where it is. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's basically evolving. You're trying things, it's working, it's not working. If it doesn't work, try something else.
Yeah.
It seems like a very cool thing. Like I spoke to Liam recently, and he was on about stuff like that, where people will, they'll sit down and they'll talk about certain things. They'll try if it works, brilliant. They'll tear it apart a little bit, see what works, and build on that. If it doesn't work, right, don't be stubborn. Don't stick with it. Don't try and make it work. Admit defeat. Put it to the side. Try something else.
That's it, man. It's like before I came to Pursue, I was very much sort of in a lull. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I was very kind of adamant on, no, I'll do this. I've always been quite open to ideas though, and trying new things. And like you say, it puts a wall of how far you can progress if you're in a position of, no, I want this thing to work. It may be like, well, we need to take that out, add that in, send that over there for a bit, come back, and then we'll figure it out. Sometimes the penny just drops and something clicks with yourself, and you think that this is like I say, I'm having so much fun doing it, and that's the main thing for me. It's how much enjoyment I get out of it.
That's it.
And,
the wrestling side of things, you kind of feel, obviously, everyone that goes through the school, you learn, the foundations, you learn the basics, you do this X, Y, and Z. But once you start wrestling like as a character, you've then kind of anything I could think of is like as a comparison. It's like when you see somebody playing piano badly, what they're playing it badly key. They know how to play piano, but they've got to be like super good to be able to play it fucked up. It's like when you're a character, you don't want to be looking like you're technically amazing, but you need to be kind of technically amazing to not be.
Yeah.
You can't feel like you have to learn the basics and then go up a notch.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well with a big character as well, I think presentation's a massive thing. Like if if I came in and I half-assed, like Axl started like the first couple of matches as Axl the Klown, it was sort of it didn't look right, it wasn't presentable, and it was more like at the start of these Pursuit training shows, it was very much we're going to record it, we're going to send you a match so you can review it, and Liam's going to sit down, he's going to tell you through what went good, what went bad. So I'm glad those matches aren't anywhere. But it's like I then went to one of my closest friends. They've got a brand that they make wrestling gear now, Sacred Circle.
Yes.
I went to them. They got me the big coat. They got me the whole gear, and it just took it up that level. And then I decided one day, I was just like, I want to go and get a mask. I don't want it to look like me. I want it to be as different and as far away from me as possible. So I reached out to a person on Etsy called RevFX. They made me a mask, and I'm so happy with it. Like, and we're in constant sort of communication, just sort of like, oh, what can we have next? Can I have, But it's for me anyway. I think if you're going big, you need to have the presentation to match it as well.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like when you're a character, it just adds levels to it, adds like credence to it. It just makes it look credible, kind of thing. So if you went out there as this character and it looked half-assed or just a crappy cosplay, it wouldn't get over. People just wouldn't buy into it. But yeah, the effort's there. It looks so. Obviously, it's a lot easier to lose yourself in the matches as a fan while you're watching.
Yeah. I want it to sort of not get recognised, but I want to be able to walk through the back of a wrestling show, all undone, and no one clicked to who I am. I want that sort of feeling. You know, it's good and bad. Some people obviously know who I am, but you know, it's a fun little world. It's yeah, you know, it's just,
when people say the wrestle under the mask, they say like a freedom. You know, like people I've spoken to that like, you know, wrestle lucha or just under a mask for whatever reason. You know, it allows them to be somebody else. Like I say, they can then take the mask off.
yeah.
Nobody's got to, you know,
Yeah,
they
I think
go out and just sit in the audience if they want for the rest of the show, kind of thing.
exactly. I think I believe it's I was watching a Slipknot documentary, and like Corey Taylor and everyone like that. They were all saying how the mask, it allows them to go into that sort of, to have that much aggression and adrenaline and that showmanship, and then as soon as it comes off, they're like automatically just click back into sort of normality. And that's what it does with me now. I can put that. I can't do the character. I find it really hard now to do it without the mask on. It doesn't feel as good to me, but like as soon as that goes on and the makeup's on, I'm like, yeah, I find it hard to come back to me once I'm there. It's so weird now. It's like the two different people.
That's good though, because it just shows like, yeah, you know, you're totally dedicated, you know, to the character. Like I say, once the mask goes on, the makeup's on, you're not you anymore. You're Axl, and that's how it should. Because fan to believe it, you've got to believe it, kind of thing. You know, if you, like I said, if you half-assed it, fan, we wouldn't buy it, kind of thing. So it's got to be that way to be successful. So yeah, it looks like, you know, pennies dropped, like you said earlier, and everything is as it should be.
Yeah.
Why Clown though? When you sort of got into wrestling, obviously you mentioned like Slipknot there. Horror fan, was it some sort of like, you know, because there's always like the Clowns, the go-to scary thing. Was you a massive Doink fan or a Crazy Steve fan? What got you in, do you think?
So I started, well, how long have I been now? Like 5-6 years ago at EBW. So when I started, sort of got brought in by Dirtbag Dave Stewart. After months of me going, I'm going to come to training, I'm going to turn up, and him going like, all right, I'll see you there then. And just me one day going, no, I'm going to do it. Rocked up, you know, trained there, wrestled there for a couple of years. Hit a sort of a rocky point where I was like, wrestling, like I was trying to do that with a full-time job as well, and then I turned to a job that was doing shift work, so it was affecting my wrestling time, and I was like, it wasn't bringing anything to me at that point. So, and then luckily enough, we got a booking in Italy, me and my old tag partner, went over there, sort of rekindled that fire a little bit, and I was like, yeah, this is getting really good. Came back to EBW, then we won their tag team championships, getting the ball rolling there, and then COVID hit. School shut down. I was sort of hitting a lull. I was like, I don't know what to do. And then got a message from Nathan, sort of saying, we've opened the school. Do you want to come down in small groups? Never met him before that. I've been passing maybe at EBW because I think he came down a couple of times. Then we sort of turned up there. We had a little group of us that were like sort of new. Had that big first couple of sessions with Slater, and I was still carrying on with what I was doing before. It just wasn't feeling right, and I was like, you know what, COVID's hit. Let's do a restart. Let's see what I can do. And then, so Laura was already doing it. Freaky Felicia was already doing a sort of a creepy sort of character anyway, and I was like, you know what, let's try that. Let's see if we can make this work, and see if what we can gel together. And I mean, we both love clowns. Like some of my favorite films, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, absolutely love that film. Pennywise, you know, Joker. You know, it was just sort of, we wanted to go down the Freakshow route. We started watching American Horror Story, Freakshow, and that sort of was like, yeah, this is what we're going to do. We're going to try it. And as I say, a lot of evolution later, not just on my part, on her part as well, came to this. So I think and as well, I've always enjoyed sort of performing and being something that I'm not. So Axl Ray was sort of, as you say at the beginning, it was Alex turned up to 10. But then once we started figuring out character stuff, I was just like, yeah, this is a chance for me to get into that, be something that I'm not, throw everything at the wall, see what sticks. And then what stuck was Axl, and then, you know, rest is history. It's so, as you say, I've probably gone off on a bit of a tangent there, but horror, yeah. Although we don't, I look like a big scary clown, but it's sort of the presentation I wanted was, you look at him and you feel uncomfortable, but then he makes you laugh and you go, he's all right. He just looks like a menacing clown that's just acting like a bit of a div.
He's misunderstood.
Yes, yeah, that was another big part of what the Freak Show as a group sort of works as. We sort of took a lot from actual freak shows of being like, we'll bring you in, you don't fit in anywhere. Yeah. Come and fit in with us. No, we're just having loads of fun at the minute. We, on the last PPW show that's just gone up, I did a British rounds match with Gentleman Jim McGuire, where if I won, he joined our Freak Show because, you know, with presentation, he's a strong man, all that classic sort of style. We wanted that in there, which he won, so he's joined there. So we've been like sort of ideaing with who else, if we were to add anyone, who are we going to add? And we wanted someone that we gelled with. Obviously, we needed that sort of charisma there, that, you know, that we can get on. And yeah, I've known Jim since he started training EVW. You know, bit of a, you know, you see this older gentleman walking, and you go, what, you know, do you know where you are? But then, you know, he's just so good at what he does, like. And you know, we all sort of starting to gel together now. And we're just going to see where that goes. Hopefully, see us as a group around in places in the not so near future. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, because I've had this conversation with a few people where there seems to be like a serious lack of factions within British. I know I can think of Sin off the top of my head.
Yeah.
A couple of different promotions, but there doesn't seem to be like a really strong faction that just kind of is running roughshod, you know, throughout the country kind of thing. Yeah, man, I'd love to see the Freak Show, you know, get a few more members, or, you know, you have got members in other promotions kind of thing, and you all come together or something like that. That'd be awesome.
It would. Do you know what? That'd be awesome. But you know, it's one of those, we're very protective of it. We don't want, oh, you're a spooky guy, you can come play with us, you know what I mean? It needs to be, roles need to be filled, you know what I mean? Like, because some people say it's a bit nitpicky, but I'm very much like, nah, I want to control it. I don't want stuff getting askew, and, you know, you can have someone join that just sort of makes everything else that we're all doing not worth it. So we've got Jim in, we're going to see how that works. And, you know, we never know, there might be stables and parts of the Freak Show traveling up and down the country at the same time. We just want to entertain. That's the whole point of us. We've got very much the actual merit of a Freak Show is we're just here to entertain people, get paid for it, try and make some money, and just carry on.
That's it. Well, yeah, the whole Freak Show aspect of it works really well. Like I said, yeah, you don't want to dilute the product, basically. You don't dilute, you know, what it actually means. So yeah, protect it. You only want people in that sort of fit and can make it better, not just keep it like at a certain level. Every person should elevate it in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But Freak Show aspect fits, like say, just on tour. You know, you could turn up at any promotion anywhere. It'd be like, oh, the Freak Show's in town, kind of thing. It just fits perfectly. It's just generally, it's just a really good idea.
Yeah, it's sort of started. I started as a bit of the Freak Show's in town at one promotion we debuted at, and it's just carried on since. Like, you know, we first debuted Freak Show over at Future Wrestling, did the Halloween show there, carried on. We've debuted at Rise, we've done Spectrum, We've done sort of one more rounds and Dirtbag sort of little projects that he's done. We are over at Tidal at the end of the month.
Nice. I think Felicia's been announced. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Axl's tagging along. He's got to go and perform somehow. He'll sneak out and.
Oh, it's a rumble. You can just.
You never know. You never know. He might pop in. He might win the whole thing. No one knows.
Awesome.
The women's rumble. It doesn't say anything about a clown being in there. Let's just say that.
Maybe you just identify that day, and who's going to argue? Right. But yeah. So you, like I said, it's on the show. It's on the show. It's on the road. You just mentioned there one more round. Massive fan of those shows. For the reason for those shows. Sidebar. I actually did the artwork for about 3 of those shows.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, that's my connection to one more round. I used to do the artwork. Yeah, like I said, it's the future's bright. Looking forward to Tidal. Like I said, I've noticed Felicia's been announced for that. Like I said, because of where you're based, you've got that many good. You're like an hour and a half away from 20 good.
Yeah.
So it's not like you've even got to travel that far. And then that's the thing about British wrestling at the minute. There's just so many good promotions.
Yeah.
So many people.
Yeah, it's we're just waiting for that moment, for that breakout moment to sort of be like, we want these guys on our show. I've sort of realised over these last couple of sort of months or so that I'm not gonna be, I'm not gonna be a Leon Slater. I'm not gonna be one of these guys that are out there killing it every night. I mean, like, it's been awesome to see Leon do what he's doing, and then seeing him training, and then, guys like Darius and just everyone that's out there just smashing it. That's not Axl's place. Axl's place is more of a, I think the way I got quoted to it once was an R-Truth sort of role.
Yeah.
Come out really confused, say something, realise he's in the wrong, get out of there.
But, like, well, not pun intended, but it's been said numerous times. It's a bit of a cliche, but a good wrestling show is like a circus.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of everything. Everybody's got the place, and yeah, you need all sorts. And wrestling is about characters more than, break it down to its foundations. It's good versus evil, evil versus fire, or whatever it is, but it's all characters. And I think if you get that nailed, you stand out. And I think that puts you in demand, personally. If I had a wrestling show, I'd want 50-50. Like, I kind of like the realistic characters, but then I'd also want the really fun ones and the ones that are just level.
So that's the thing. It's like, it's trying to fit in it. It's trying to fit in a market that, because I mean, no detriment to anyone, but there's a lot of people that are on that level of putting out absolutely amazing matches, and they're all absolutely killing it. But then you sort of look a bit underneath, and you've got your people like Charles Crowley, you can absolutely bring it, but also has that character side of it. I think him and Maggot have done some really cool stuff. And then you put Gene Money in there as well, who's absolutely, he's so funny, but he's so good in the ring. And then you take it down another level, and you've got guys like Wing Commander Nash, who again is just one of the best comedy wrestlers, around. But then I feel like there's a market there where you've sort of got that avant-garde style of thing, something that's completely like will make you go, what have I just watched?
Yeah.
But as long as you feel something once I've done a match, whether you hated it, you wanted to kill me, you laughed, I scared you, whatever, I just want an emotion to be felt. And trying to find that I feel like that's where I'm trying to sort of slot in, is somewhere sort of between, if we want to put it that way, sort of between G Money and Nash. I just want to sort of slide in around that sort of area and just sort of be, this is where Axl lives. He's good. He can do stuff, but he's funny. He can also do this if you want him to.
That's it. I mean, obviously, as a character, do you kind of, that's what I said earlier, though, obviously, you've got to know your wrestling. You've got to be able to wrestle, before you even do anything else, kind of thing. So But do you kind of feel like you're not recognised as being? I've seen your matches, man. You know, you can go, you're a good worker and everything. But do you kind of feel like the character overshadows that, or do you have to work twice as hard to actually be acknowledged as a good wrestler because you're a character?
I don't think.
Or does it matter?
I don't. I don't. I mean, you want to be able to prove at times. I think everyone secretly wants to prove, and they go, "I'm actually really good. I can do this. No one thinks I can do it." And then we'll randomly put it in. But for me, it's more like, where would that fit in with Axl? Like, why would he randomly come out and do a Canadian Destroy, for example? Unless I'm wrestling someone and it goes really, really daft, and then you could fit that in potentially. I often joke at times, like I'm constantly sort of writing down ideas and storylines and just stuff related to wrestling, and there's always times where I go down a super serious route, and be like, what would happen if you pushed Axl to a limit where it was a sort of an amalgamation between the real person and Axl together, and we sort of I've umbrellaed it that no more clowning around sort of story, and it's it's finding the place that will let me do it and the right person to do it with. But no, it's there's lots of ideas and little stories, like people at training, like like one of my closest friends, Jay Vertigo, at the minute, is tremendous high flyer, and he's someone that I'd want to work with and try and figure that out. I've had a brief encounter with Joshua Kemper, the current PPW champion. He's always been someone recently, his character's shone, and I love to see it, where he's sort of very much Joaquin Phoenix Joker vibes at the moment, sort of when he's sort of sat putting the makeup on and he's just a bit, it's really good. And Laura always sits there and goes, we need him for the Freak Show, because he's a lost soul, and he says that he's outcast and no one wants him, and we're just in the back going, what do you do? Come be with us. And I want to work. I've been lucky enough to work with Leon. I've been lucky enough to work with Derice. There's loads of people on the scene that I just want to go in there with, not necessarily meet them on a wrestling level, but sort of put on an entertaining match, whether or not that just leads me clowning around and then getting my head kicked off, or we're both just big characters. So a Nash and myself, for example, that wouldn't even be a match. I don't even think we'd get a pin. I don't think it would end in a pin. I think it would just carry on forever.
Just imagine you two having a thumb battle or something in the middle of the ring, or
just do anything.
I can imagine you tripping into somebody who's bent over and then just randomly hitting them with a Canadian Destroyer or something.
Yeah.
That's my the Canadian Destroyer. Yeah, just somebody trips him up. He starts to go forward. Some poor guy ends up being Canadian. Bosh. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you and Nash. I must love Nathan. He's an amazing guy. Spoken to him a few often on here, but had him on here. He's on here next week actually with James from the movement. In a WrestleMania 13 party. But yeah, I just love Nash. But he's one of those guys that knows his place. He's very versatile. If you've got him on your card, people are going to be entertained for at least 5-10 minutes, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole Freak Show thing. To me, the whole, not even the Freak Show thing, the character thing. I don't think it would work with Axl if he was to come out and have try to have a 5-star match. It doesn't fit the character persona, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on a high with him at the minute because I've just been sat watching clips of him, Leon and Ospreay, and I'm like, there's part of me that sits there and goes, I really want to be in that position. I want to be wrestling some of the best guys in the world. But then I'm like, would I enjoy it?
Yeah.
Would I be enjoying it if I was just being me? That's just me personally, but I still have that little inkling, and I'm like, I want to be doing the emotional main event 5-star matches, but instead now I'm probably sat making Jim Cornette and Dave Meltzer cry a little bit with putting in a dance off in the middle of a British rounds match, you know. But
it's good enough for Tracy's mothers. It's good enough for anyone. That's, you know, put dance off anywhere you want. Tracy's mother's got away with it for years. You guys are legends. But yeah, I mean, the thing as well, that obviously those guys are awesome. There's only so much space for guys that are just guys, you know, realistic, you know, it's just them kind of thing, having really good matches. There's a lot of people out there that do that to varying degrees. They don't, majority of them don't stand out. That's half the battle. But yeah, when you've got this character, you automatically elevate yourself, become memorable, and become bookable. Because, like, say, you know, you've mentioned different promotions, and hopefully, you know, that gets bigger and bigger as well. But people want, that's this kind of thing you want to put on a wrestling poster, man. Characters, people that look like that are what should be on wrestling posters. You know, I don't want to see John ripped to shit who just looks like a normal dude. It's a wrestling show, man. I want to see people like that on posters.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I've always been like, looking back, like, you go back to World of Sport days, everyone was a character. Everyone had a gimmick. Like, you had people like I forgot another names, but I love Les Kellett, like, absolutely brilliant. Look, and he had a character, and then you know, people, the top guys back then were all, so you had your Haystacks, your Kendo Nagasaki, everyone were a character, and then it sort of felt like, well, it sort of went, and then obviously you got your WWE and you've got your big guys, like you had Hogan, larger than life characters, and I feel like obviously now we're in a part of the world where we've got to be inclusive for everyone, and you know, not everyone's going to be a 6'8" Jack Hogan brother, or a 6'10" dead character, or a high flying mask wearing guy. You know, I'm all for, if you can do it, why not? You know, I don't. If you've got the effort to put into a wrestling training session, and you come in and you bump and you're learning and you're actively listening and you're trying, and you know, then I've got all the time in the world for you. Like, I love the fact that we get people coming into PPW, especially from all walks of life. You know, you've got the people that have all came and they knew wrestling, they knew how to wrestle, they were wrestling for years, and they're mixing in with these people that are coming in brand new off the Liam's training course, which are phenomenal. The amount of time that he spends with them, and they come in and they can do what they can do in that amount of time. I think it's a bit crazy, a bit stupidly good how he can get people that have never wrestled to then be able to wrestle a full match with him towards the end of the class. I'm getting sidetracked again, I always do. But you know, obviously everyone's in their own right as a character. Not everyone sort of walks around doing all the gang signs and flipping and, you know, everything like that. But again, that's turned up to a 10. But I do feel like there is a lack of these big characters over here at the minute. Like, you look in the US on the indie scene, there's still these guys that are doing these big characters, and it's coming back over here. Like, again, name dropping again, you've got Darius, you know, big entrance, big jacket, rapping. He's got something that as soon as he comes out, you go, oh, he's someone. Who's this guy? And again, with Crowley, he has his dance, his big get up, you know. Gene as well, Gene Money. Again, it's not. It's just a daft character, but you notice him, and then you've got the Lycos Gym boys who, you know, masks again. It's on its way back, and it's really nice to see sort of these ideas and these sort of characters all existing in the UK wrestling scene that is coming back from a very low point. But you know, it's good to see, and I'm enjoying every step of it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, obviously, you know, you within tag teams, you know, well, we've got Cash, who's another guy who's very good on the promos, very good character. I had him on the show, and when he was on the show, he was Cash Money Sash. You know, he basically hour-long promo. It's just totally blew my mind, and I didn't have a clue what to do, in all fairness. Then you got Crash Boat as well, very good tag team. You know, they like, I love PPW social media. I love the TikToks, the Instagram posts. Liam's credited Nathan with all that sort of side of.
He's you know, he'll come to you and go, right, can we do a reel? Can we do a reel today? And you'll do it 5 times. He'll have you under those lights. He'll turn them all on, blaring music, and you'll be doing it 5 to 10 times until he's like, yeah, that's all right. And then you'll just go away. And he'll just go and edit it and then put it on. It's you know, it's very much he has an idea, he's going to do it, and then he'll go away. And, you know, it's working. Like, some of those numbers on TikTok and Instagram are crazy, crazy numbers.
Yeah, there's a couple of TikToks I know like that I've got over like millions of views kind of thing. And it's just, it was kind of made me laugh, like when I was talking to Liam back, obviously, like Liam's, you know, he'll get you in the ring, he'll work his magic that way. And then you got Nathan, who's just making like, just getting eyes on the prize kind of thing with like the social. But it's just working really well. I think, you know, it's just a perfect kind of team that's covering all the bases. It's got to be good for you guys as well. Like I said, just the social media content. I guess it's basically it's advertising you.
Right? Exactly. Like, you know, there's some, I think they did one on Gentleman Gym not too long ago, like a mini sort of documentary.
That the dude who kept in the school. He kind of slept. I watched one. I didn't catch the name, but he slept in the school, and like Liam was showing him around.
Oh no, that's a completely different entity. Music Man, he's
Man, that's it.
That's it. But they did a like a mini doc on Gentleman Jim Maguire, sort of like showing what he does and, you know, everything like that. And the amount of like some big names were commenting on that, and it's just like, that's done him a world of good. And, you know, he got off and he were wrestling at Avant-Garde couple of times, and obviously, like with ourselves, he's sort of joined us, and we're trying to hopefully get the package of us free out there. We're going to try and get some content done, but it's just great to see, and it's helping. You know, I think it's putting eyes on people that deserve to have eyes put on them. Sort of like Ellis Barker's one that comes to mind. Like, the guy's phenomenal at like technical wrestling and lucha wrestling. Really, like, one of the best in the country, if I'd say. But it's sort of like, it's pushing him out there to be like, look at this guy, use this guy, he's really, really good. And, you know, you get Joe Wade's on there a lot, and Bandicoot and Leon, and, you know, if there's a big moment, Nathan's there to catch it and push it. And I'm surprised it's taken him this long to do a show, in all honesty. But, you know, speaking to him, he'll tell you himself, he was waiting for the right moment. He was waiting for that moment to be like, we're going to do it. And it's happening.
Yes. Well, yeah, one of the reasons I'm trying to talk to as many of you guys as possible, really, from that I would associate heavily with PPW kind of thing. Just get eyes, you know, on the product, ready for that show. The word, because yeah, anybody knows me knows I'm a massive fan of what PPW is doing. I think you guys are just automatically credible because you've trained at PPW. I think anybody who's looking to fill cards can just look at who's been trained by PPW. Yeah, I know they're going to do a job. You know, they've been trained awesomely. Book them. And I followed Liam since I think he started like when he was 20 years old, kind of thing. I've saw him back in Bradford back in the day.
Yeah.
And Dewsbury. So, yeah, I'm just a massive fan of what, you know.
It's almost like what they've done with their social medias. They've made an Argos catalogue of wrestlers for anyone that's looking for characters, because we've got everyone that they can literally scroll down and go, oh yeah, they're good. Let me message them and get the details. You know what I mean? It's super useful. And like, I've not personally had a school that is that open to being like, use our guys. You know, I'd arguably say we've got some of the best wrestlers or up and coming wrestlers in the UK here, if not some of them arguably the world. And I think it's just a matter of time until, you know, Pursuit becomes one of these big names in the UK scene. Like, wholeheartedly, I honestly believe it's going to get to that point, because I don't think we're going to stop producing talent. I don't think they're going to stop producing, brilliant shows, and I don't think Nathan's going to stop, to be honest with you.
That's it. It's not just, it's like, obviously, the longer it goes on, it's, the students then become the teachers as well, kind of things. So it won't just be on, like Liam or other people to teach. You guys will be passing on the knowledge.
Yeah.
And it'll keep snowballing and snowballing. I think British wrestling is such a good point it is now. Because obviously, I highly rate PPW, but there's a lot of there are other good schools out there.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You got Rampage, you got Nathan and Matt doing. You've got Future Shock. There's a lot of, but that's because guys that were absolutely smashing it 7, 8, 10 years ago, and now start to pass on the knowledge.
Yeah.
Like you say, your Rampages, your Nathans, Matt Myers, Dave Stewart, Dave Rains. Lizzie Evo's, coaching, and she's only 24, but that long. Obviously Liam. It's crazy to me that all of these guys now sort of teachers as well.
It's great to see. Like, I feel like there's a void missing in this sort of South Yorkshire area, where there's not been like a mainstay. Like, you've got your North Yorkshire, you've got people up there running stuff. You've got sort of Midlands area. There's a load round there. You've got Styx covering the Nottingham area with House of Pain. The South's thrived for forever. You know what I mean? And then the Manchester way, they've got it all covered. But there's never really been a prominent sort of mainstay promotion in Sheffield. Like, you get your progressors are coming through and your Rev Pros come, but there's nothing for like people sort of like Doncaster way, Sheffield, even up to like Barnsley sort of area, that are having to sort of go that extra sort of 20-30 minutes to go to a show, when it should realistically be 10 minutes, 20 minutes down the road in a city where there's a lot of people and there's a lot of fans. And I feel like someone needs to just grab the bull by the horns and go, we are putting a promotion on here and we are staying here, and this is the Sheffield promotion. But that's just it's just me.
I fully agree. And I think, chat with Liam, obviously PPW's the school, but again, when I was talking, he's sort of saying at a push, they want to put on like 4 shows a year, like at a push kind of thing. So, it's just to be able to showcase you guys on a semi-regular basis. But yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I'm in Leeds, so I'm crazy lucky that I've got Rise, Tidal, and True Grit on my door. Really, very credible, very good promotions. But yeah, and then like 30 minutes down the road, you guys, there's nothing there. It amazes me. There's we've kind of got one PW, the Doncaster way, or Doncaster alternating with Lincoln. But yeah, Sheffield. So it's a good town. It's a big town. It's always kind of puzzled me that there's never really been a big name promotion. I think no offense to shows that have run there, but there's not. They never get flagged up. Like with your PCWs or like your Idols or your Future Shocks or your House of Pain. Yeah, man. I mean, if it's PPW, I could do it on a month by month basis or bi-monthly basis. I don't think they'd stop anybody else from doing it if they wanted to kind of, and just it'd be more exposure for you guys.
Exactly. I mean, they're super good with like the facility's been used for so many, like they helped True Grit get off the ground, and I think they helped Spectrum on the first couple of shows. They've housed Rise. They've so many countless promotions, and we're up in Leeds week after next because we're going up to North this weekend. I absolutely love North. I think it's great. And then we're off to Planet Wrestle weekend after, and then sort of Tidal that week after. Tidal. But I just don't like it when there was a time when promotions were just butting heads with each other, and I'm like, why? Let's just be cool and just be like, wrestling's great. Let's not fight over pointless things.
Yeah, because you build the business up. If that promotion is doing well, that means that talent's doing well. If you then book that means you're doing well. So yeah, everybody kind of elevates everybody else logically. Yeah, it doesn't seem as clicky as it did 7, 8 years ago, kind of thing. I know there was a lot of promotions did used to bang heads quite aggressively at times, but it does kind of seem now that I think it's a bit more chilled. I think people understand that they kind of need to help each other.
Yeah, and like I say, I think there's just a matter of I'm hoping it's just a matter of time until people look at the Freak Show, whether it just be me on my own, Freaky, Jim, or the three of us, and sort of everyone else at Pursuit Pro Wrestling that isn't out there that should be, your Jay Vertigos, your Joshua Kempers, your Posty Malone's another good one that I absolutely get on with well. William Valor's one that one of my closest friends of all time. I can't think off the top of my head. Alan Kay's one that should be further than he is. Absolutely love Alan to death. Joe Wade, Jet Marshall, just so many people that I'm like, these guys are so good. Why are they not further than they are? And I don't know if it's an area thing. I don't know what it is, but there's just like someone just take them and be like, give them a shot because they'll absolutely blow your minds. Every single person there.
That's what I mean. Just somebody to step up. Like I say, PPW aren't going to do it on a regular basis. Somebody just to bite the bullet, start a promotion in Sheffield. You guys are a tapped resource. Just get you guys, and like I said, just the names you was reeling off then. It's obviously I'm again lucky enough to see most of those kicking around at Raw True Grit.
Yeah.
Obviously, Liam and True Grit have a very good relationship.
Yeah.
And obviously North as well. So I need to get up to North at some point because it's just I try and big them up as well, but I've never actually been to a show. But I've caught them on YouTube. Looks like an amazing atmosphere. Audience looks banging. I need to get to North. So going up there in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we're up there this weekend for their big show. We're going up with Liam and everyone just to sort of show our faces. We went down a couple of months ago, just to have a look and say hello and help out where we can. But it's definitely somewhere where we sat and stood and watched the whole show from the back, and the atmosphere is absolutely incredible. And the matches that everyone was putting, every match was brilliant. Like there wasn't a match where I was like, could have been better. It was like every match was just absolutely like I was like that couldn't be better. Like phenomenal. Like you say, like I think Liam's been really good at trying to help put people over up there. I think last couple of shows ago he had his match against Jet. Jet's now a mainstay up there from what I can see. Joe Wade's sort of cracking his way on there. I don't know if you noticed, but I talk a lot more about other people, and I'm like, I want to push them. And I'm not selfish enough to be like, you should push Axl, you should have a clown on your show. I mean, I think every show should have a clown. Whether I don't have to do anything, I can just stand there and just wave. So like, at the start of the show,
just have Axl as the ring announcer.
Oh, you wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want Axl as a ring announcer. I see clips of where was it? I think it was like at a SeaWorld or something like that, and they had a mime just as people coming in to sit down to watch the show. He was there just interacting with people, just getting them all just hyped, just miming about and just doing clown gags, and I'm like, I could do that. You don't have to pay me much to do it. I'll come and just stand there and do it for free.
Or just have a sign that says applause or
that's
cheer.
There's constant sort of ideas and everything. It's great. I love it.
That's good though, man, because that shows obviously you're still emotionally attached. You're still, you're still loving it. It's still, making you pop. It's still getting you excited. The fact sit down there. I would imagine you probably got dozens of notebooks, like you're saying earlier, about the under the umbrella kind of thing, or you planned out the next 2 or 3 years for Axl in different groups. But there's like a multiverse of Axl realities out there written down.
You know, we refer to it training as he's sort of a Deadpool of wrestling. I can go in there and break the fourth wall and, you know, be like, oh, I've read the script, I remember what I'm doing. and I can get away with it because it's a daft character that no one takes seriously. Like, I'll constantly turn and talk to Liam on commentary on the PPW shows, like, and I'll be talking directly to him. You know, and I always get away with more than I should. Well, he does anyway. I always refer to Axl as someone else. It's weird, but it just feels better than saying it's me.
Yeah. Like you say, it's not you, man. Once you put that mask on, once you put the makeup on, not Alex anymore. It's yeah, as long as you keep that mindset, it kind of thinks you could probably get away with it as well a bit more. You can you'll be more adventurous with what you want to do, or you know, you're a bit more cheeky and be like, I could get away with this, but Axl, yeah, fuck it, you know, Axl can do it.
Yeah. No, I'm really looking forward to it. Like, for example, next show Axl's actually doing is Planet Wrestle. Again, great guys on there. You've got Crash Boater on there, Vertigo, B.A. Rose, Rebecca Resner. You know, everyone's on there. And I've got Posty Malone, who is just a postman that wrestles. So you've got a clown that has somehow ended up wrestling. You've got a postman, and it's a space theme show. There's endless opportunities for me to get away and upset more very serious wrestling fans.
I can just you're not going to sleep like 3 days before the show because your mind's just going to be like flying in overdrive and just the pen will be burning.
Ideas.
Yeah, dude, it's genuinely been. I know Axl's going to make an appearance at some point, so I am going to just say, I'll thank Alex for talking to me. You know, talk about PPW. Dude, it has been a genuine blast. I am going to try and get to the next title show, and I see Axl there. Then that'd be amazing. Also, I'll show my support for Felicia, who's going to be on the show in a few weeks. And the idea is hopefully prior to the first PPW show is I might be able to sweet talk Axl and Felicia into being on the show together.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's as long as you can, as long as you've got a censor button. Like, some things might not make sense. Just let them roll with it.
So,
you know, it's been an absolute pleasure. Like, I've watched the last one with Liam, and you know, I've watched a couple of shows, and it's just having an opportunity to sort of like, I haven't done a sort of an interview as me while I've been wrestling as Axl, so it's a bit of a, not an exclusive, but sort of something that won't happen very often because I feel like it takes away from, I think everyone knows that he's not a real clown, but I want that sort of mystique still there a little bit. I want that sort of magic behind it to be like, this is Axl, he's still there. He's not me. I'm boring compared to, you know.
Body's boring compared to Axl, in all fairness. on that level. But no, I do appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much. And it's been awesome talking to you.
Not a problem at all. I'll go and fetch the clown then. Why do I have to come and sit here on this interview that isn't for another hour? Hey up,
dude.
Right. Are we ready to start then?
Let's crack on. I've
got. You said an hour, so we're good for an hour here.
1 hour.
One hour. Oh, you know, mate, it's absolutely brilliant to be on the Tonight Show with you. It's something that I can't believe I'm here. You know, I thought Jimmy Fallon looked a bit different, but here we are. Camera, you know, it makes you look a bit different. So, what's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Nick, and I'm from Leeds.
Hey up, Nick from Doncaster. How you doing?
I'm all good.
I'm Axl the Klown. I am current. Oh, it's here already placed. It's like I put it there. I am the current PPW 24/7 Clown Champion, and I beat lots of people for that. I made that because I lost. Thank you. I appreciate that. I made that because I lost the PPW championship to Postman. So I got a bit depressed, and I drove to Dundee in my bare feet. So I made a belt and then told Liam Slater, because he does stuff between lines or between text or something like that. And I sent him a text, hoping he got it, because, you know, and I said, right, I've made a belt, I'm the champion. You know, this is how it goes. So, who's your favourite wrestler?
Oh, it's hard. If I had to pick one, maybe the Great Khali.
Oh, have you seen him in New Japan?
Oh, flying about.
Mate,
619.
I didn't think you were him. I was convinced for years he had stilts. Big shoes with stilts, because he had them long trousers, you see. No one knew. No, I think my favourite wrestler is Teddy Long, because he always used to do tag team matches, didn't he? And I like tagging in tag matches with Freaky or Jim, who I think is my dad, but I'm not too sure because I don't really know.
Could be.
I mean, yeah. Do you want to see me things? I've got things for you here. I've got so many things. So I've got a horn. That's that one there. And then I've got a black one. That's a bit higher. Obviously, I've got my belt. I've got merch. Do you want merch? Get them on my Instagram. There's a link there. That's my face. That's Freaky's face. We don't have Jim's face yet, but we'll have a go. Buy one, please, because rent's due, and I don't get much pocket money, and it's a bit sad at times because, you know, there's not much clown work going these days because of that dickhead hiding in sewers. You know, you laugh, but you know, I've lost gigs because of that.
Just don't get a red balloon. I'd try having a blue balloon, see if it makes a difference.
But, you know, kids used to love balloons. You used to love clowns. I used to do an act where I used to hide. Like, I used to get a table and hide like that, and I'd go, "Hey up, son, do you want this boat?" And you know, then he ripped it off, and he literally ripped that kid's arm off, and you know, they won't book me anymore.
Shocking, absolutely. Just get Warner Brothers on the blower and be like, "No, mate, I want some money."
Yeah, and maybe they'll put me in a new Batman film.
Yes.
Who do you think's best Batman?
The best Batman?
Yeah.
Ooh, Keaton.
Who?
Keaton.
Is that's Scottish one who used to Sean Connery, isn't it?
No, that's Daniel Craig.
Oh yeah. Dark
That's
Knight. That's the one. That's the one, isn't it? That's the one. Who else are you gonna get from PPW on your show then on the Tonight Show with Nick from Leeds?
Somebody that you know very, very well. Felicia is on in a few weeks.
You never.
Yep.
You never have it. Oh, you never have it Freaky on here.
Yeah.
He's a bit weird.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward.
People think I'm weird, but she's another kettle of fish, you know. She literally has a kettle of fish downstairs. That poor bastards, you know. I keep replacing them. They keep boiling to death. It's not laughing matter, Nick from Leeds. It's serious, man.
I know. I don't want the RSPCA getting involved though, so we'll put a lid on that one because we don't want to get Freaky in trouble.
No, because that Panda took away that F from WWE back then, and they weren't even doing it with pandas. I don't know why they did it.
Jealousy.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Definitely.
Anyway, Nick from Leeds, thanks for being on the Tonight Show with Axl The Klown. This is my podcast now. It's not called. It's not. I'm going to rebrand it. It's going to be called The Tonight Show with Axl The Klown, and then I'll interview anyone I want. So I might let you come back on. You can come and show animals and stuff like they do on that show. Do you know, they have someone that comes and shows it. I mean, you've got an hedgehog there. You could show that off. Here he is. Yeah. Whoa, here we are. Look at that animal, dangerous animal. Hey. The blue dog. Here he is. That's the blue dog from Australia, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I got that reference. I'm not an idiot.
Well, thank you for having me on the Tonight Show. Is it Axl or Mr. Klown?
No, Mr. Klown's my father, who I don't think I've got. So it's just Axl the Klown with a K.
Dude,
But make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitters, because I've just put some videos out because I'm trying to upset people with me daft wrestling. You should book me as well, because, as I say, works hard, and I want people to like clowns again.
I will. You know what? I'm going to join. I will help spread the word, and we'll have a clown appreciation day or something.
Do you know when you do that podcast with James and Nash about WrestleMania 13? You should tell them I'll pay you a bit, and you should tell them to put Axl the Klown on True Grit.
You know
and I can wrestle Slater, because I've done a British rounds match. I can wrestle Slater in a pure grit match now.
That I would pay to see. I would definitely.
I'm very good at it now. You see, I know what I'm doing.
Yes, right. It's on. I'll plant the seeds for you.
That's it. Good man. You get a horn for that. Right then, sunshine. I'll catch you later. You have a good evening. All right. That's been a good hour. That.
Cheers, dude. Thank you very much.
Ta-ta.